Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to Super Sunday here on Apex Racing TV, the double header of Weekend Warriors. Kicking things off with the Formula Ford, a track that doesn't even exist anymore. It's a housing estate now. We all know and love it as Oran Park as we head down under to Australia. I am Tim Cox. We've got Samuli Kume in the virtual production trailer. Charles Michelle joins me incredibly shortly. But let's have a quick look into the championship standings as we head into what is technically round 5, but it's actually round 3 proper of the season due to the Christmas break. And first off, let's have a look across into Spec 1, which I feel might have a little bit of a interesting twists and turns after tonight, and it's Simon Ball that leads the way there by nearly 30 points over Christian Kabanka. Jason Green in third, although only just ahead of Michael McConnell with Simpson, Harris, Jacobson, Norm on his what return last weekend the win, taking him up to straight into 8th, and Wenger and Rodriguez running at your top 10 there. So a little cross into Spec at 2 now, and well, that's been ever competitive as always. Snakes by just how close it is already at the top, only 7 points covering Montgomery in first and Trenton Kramer in second. Tim Staney's third, then it's Lorios only 7 points behind him, with Paul Stevens 3 points behind Lorio. Incredibly tight, that top 5. Fernandez, Ferris, Payne, Fabrouge going to round out your top 10 there. Across into Masters now, and it's Yogmani leading the way there. This regular foe and battle at the front end of the field. Antonio Race lies in second. Degassis in third. Murakami, bit of a return to form, hence why he's into fourth. Then it's Nelson Walpole. Cathcart, I'll be hoping for a good run here today at his home circuit. Stevie Ray 8th, then Toms and Brewster running out your top 10 there. But Charles Michelle, welcome along. And we were saying it, well, I'll say to you in the build-up, normally it's a little bit of a formality. We get things done early doors here in qualifying, but this one has got me completely and utterly gripped and engrossed.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for having me in again. And yeah, so we've got some, the returning names of Aaron Mall, who we saw last week, and now on our current pole sitter, Tim Hendrickson. So there's some heavyweights in the race today. So it's going to be very interesting to watch the dynamic between these. I guess we'll call them returning regulars, because if they haven't been in for a couple seasons. We see Tim occasionally here and there Nom would come in for a race, but now he's 2 weeks in a row, so it looks like he might be back for a while. And then we've got our normal cast of characters: Christian Kabanka, Jason Green, York Monty, Antonio Race, a returning Megan Overstreet, who I see on the board. So yeah, it's going to be a really fascinating race, and this is a very tricky track. If you saw the track map earlier, no, it doesn't have a figure eight. It does have a crossover bridge, however, though. So it's an over-under configuration. So yeah, it's just going to be one of those races that, it's not the most widely used track. As you said, it's also, it's no longer physically there in real life. And so it's going to be very interesting to watch the dynamics between all these drivers during this race today.
And it's not just that battle we've got ensuing at the sharp end. It's also in Spec 2 as well. We've got Kramer and Montgomery are top two in the Spec 2 Championship, separated by a meager 0.004 of a second in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've started doing the unofficial SCCA on Tuesday nights. So I've obviously, Trenton Kramer had a really good run Tuesday in the MX5s and the Spec Racers. So his form is improving every week, every time he's in the car. So that battle between him and Montgomery, as you see, they're basically 4 milliseconds apart in their qualifying time. So yeah, it's another interesting battle that we're going to have in every class.
It is. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. We've got 5.5 minutes left in qualifying, and normally it just settles down now. Not a lot happens. We've still got green sectors being set, so therefore personal best. There's even an occasional purple being populated in occasionally 31 cars out on track at the moment trying to find it. Well, where they're going to start this race, Charles, and it's only a short circuit, 1.6 kilometers, 1.6 miles, 2.6 kilometers in length, and just about, if that wasn't challenging enough to try and make your way through, we've got an incredibly hot 40 degrees Celsius, 104 Fahrenheit track temperature to boot as well.
Yeah, that's obviously, it makes the car control a little trickier with the high temps on the track. So you have to be, pretty comfortable with the car sliding around. And if you've driven these cars for any length of time, I think they do that anyway. So now you just even got that much more. So you have to maintain that momentum during the lap. Try not to get off the track. This track is not necessarily what I would say, highly cambered. It's a pretty flat track. It's got some elevation to it, but you're not going to be able to just, take it through the corner hard and let the camber help you get around. You're going to have to really use a lot of throttle control in order to make the car work.
I just see some green sectors there for returning face to the series. That is Manning Grinnan, one of the old school weekend warriors who's come back into the Formula 4s now. He's back from the SRF days, a returning name now into the Masters category in the 47 machine. Not the best to qualify so far for him, 25th. However, we say week in, week out. You just have to look at the caliber and the pedigree of drivers in front of him right now. It is stacked, to say the least, and even behind him as well. Even stalwart of the series, and in fact owner of the series, Stevie Ray. Always there or thereabouts. In the mid to upper echelons of Masters qualifying. I mean, he's right at the back. 10th in class, 28th overall, which is going to put him on the penultimate row of the grid if we were to start things right now.
Yeah, it's a little out of place for Stevie, and it's when you first come back to these, or come back to anything, any kind of car or any league like that, you're going to just have to kind of judge where you are based on the current field, and obviously we've got some really good racers in this field. We talk about it every week. 31 car grid. It's bigger than the normal officials. It's twice as long of a race, so there's going to be pit stops in play, and so anybody that gets into this race has got their work cut out for them.
have indeed. It's going to be interesting. We're showing how treacherous it can be out there. Sancinelli faced this been back a bit more recently. Taking a bit of a hiatus from the series. Great to have him back on board and just getting things a little bit, well, had some crossing over definitely as he headed for a recovery corner in the last turn on the track, which myself and Smooly, producer Smooly, were having a bit of a conversation before you joined us, Charles, about that's a tricky corner because you've got one of two options. You can defend into it, but then that compromises you down that long run down the start finish straight, or you elect to maybe just try and keep it online and launch yourself out of it. It's in some ways, if you're the car defending, you're damned either way.
Yeah, really, that's absolutely true. Because it's it looks like when you get coming out of the corner that there's plenty of room on the outside, but you find out that wall rises up pretty quickly, and if you're not on your line, if you're having a battle with somebody, you could end up with that wheel-to-wheel contact, or just absolutely slapping it off the wall. So that's this whole track to me is pretty. I've driven it a little bit, but for whatever reason, I just can't get a good rhythm here, and it's a very, like I said, it's a very difficult track to get a handle on. And I would say that being a guy that really enjoys tracks like CTMP, where you have to have that same kind of mentality, is you have to be pretty letter perfect as far as your lines and your speed. This one is even, it seems like it's even more so, and it's just, I never could really go get a handle on it. So the fact that these cars are doing this during the race is pretty amazing to my point.
Sover Street, they're just trying to carve out a new rallycross circuit into Oran Park. Obviously a virtual one, because there was never one that existed in real life. Not to mention the track doesn't even exist now to this day. It's now a housing estate. Cabanca improving late on up into second, and just set a purple sector 1. That's going to be a lap to watch out for. Also, Nom saying set purple sector 4 as well last time around. So still trying to improve, and Hendrickson, since he took pole, it was about a 4/10 gap, but that gap has diminished, and Cabanca's brought it down to just over a 10.5 in the closing stage. Check flag now out. Drivers can complete their lap, and Cabanca a purple sector 1, but then no improvement in 2, 3, and 4. So, and yeah, there we go, into the pits he comes. So, no improvement for him. He's looking like he's going to start second, and other than that, Charles, I'm not really seeing anyone improving on these final laps.
I'm not either. It looks like everybody is going to be standing pat here for this last lap for the people who are already on. And yeah, so we're talking about people being out of place. I'm just looking at Matt Zerb's down in 27th, who's had some really good runs in this car over the past season or so. So that seems like it's really low for him. Maybe he's just struggling a bit with the temp or the track itself.
So across the line there comes Jimmy Littbacker, only Swede in the field, and no improvement from him. He's going to start 28th on the grid. Matthew Gard not setting a time in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see. Although he only attempted 2 laps, so not necessarily the worst thing in the world at all. As mentioned, a real tricky circuit, high track temperatures as well to boot, just to make things a little more interesting for us here. But turn 1 on that opening lap, Charles. Well, turn 1 proper, should I say? Because the sweeper is, the kink. You head left hand before you head into Coca-Cola. It's turn 1 proper. I mean, it's going to be so tricky for you there in those opening laps. And are you feeling a pile up, or are you feeling optimistic about it?
Well, if I'm going with my gut, I'm not feeling optimistic about it, and it's just because of the lack of driving I've done on this track. These guys are obviously much better than me, so I'm thinking that we might have a couple of little off tracks because you can carry way too much speed to that little kink going into Coca-Cola. So I could probably see a couple cars off. I don't foresee any major pileups. This field usually does a really good job of keeping the cars off of each other at least through the first lap or so, and then we kind of get going from there.
A reverse curse of the commentator attempted there.
I hope
Let's
so.
see how they're going to line up the runners and riders. Hendrickson on pole, Kabanka on the front row with him. Then it's another all spec 1 row for row 2, Ball and Nom. Green is joined by top qualifier in Masters, Yogmani, with Antonio Race next to Kevin Parrish. Top 10 and row 5. That's Chris Murakami and top qualifier in Spec 2, Trent Kramer. Row 6, Alan DeGassius and Benjamin Harris. Well, on to row 7, that is Montgomery and Tom Laurie. Row 8, Overstreet, disappointing by her qualifying nearly a second off the pace. She starts to fellow Spec 1 driver, Michael McConnell. There's an all-Masters row for row 9. Brad Cathcart is home track, hoping for a good race. He starts next to Gary Warbolt, while row 10, top 20, is running up by Michael Nelson and Chris Simpson. Row 11, Pedro Carvalho and Jeff Jacobson, while Jim Brewster starts next to Paul Stevens on row 12. Row 13, unlucky for some, let's hope it's not, for Manning Grinnan and Edgar Stancinelli. Matt Zerbs, who'll be disappointed by his qualifying starting 27th next to Jimmy Litback on row 14. On row 15 is Stevie Ray and Jason Grider. Matthew Gard did not set a time in qualifying, although only attempted 2 laps. He starts last 31st, so the only way is up for him. He has joined the grid, however, Matt Zerbs hasn't. Now, that's interesting. Is that going to be a pit lane start for him or not at all? Is he not fancying this one? We'll find out very, very shortly. Undoubtedly, as it's all head around this very short pace lap tonight, having started pretty much just before the penultimate corner here. There is Recaro, pretty much in the midst of the best corner name in the world, the O'Brien Aluminium Dogleg. But anyway, let's get ready to go racing the first time this evening as we are green and we are away down to turn 1. Discovery into the unknown on cold tyres with a warm up quickly due to this high track temperatures as everyone makes their way into Coca-Cola for the first time. Plenty of side-by-side action. There's casualties already. That's Jacobson and Laurie both off, and Laurie in further contact there. I think that's with Carvalho, but them just making their way through. Other than that, Chris Simpson up 5 already. Stevie Ray up 8 into 21st.
Wow, good start by Stevie Ray. Yeah, we had a couple of incidents there. I did see Laurie in practice was really struggling with that kink, so I don't know if it was his fault. So I'm not going to lay blame on him. But I did see him struggle a little bit, just trying to keep the speed down in through that kink.
That's making the way through the circuit right now through Momo Corner. It's the aforementioned O'Brien Aluminium Dogleg. What a mouthful that is, although drivers making their way through relatively clean and easy. This front group, I say front group, realistically, it pretty much ends to get above a second gap. It's about the entirety of the field, in all fairness. There's one long line. A few drivers dipping out some pressure. Overstreet trying to make some progress. Murakami having a little bit of a look there. And Overstreet, yeah, gets some moved on, but there's a spin, and this driver's off on his ball, and it's Hendrickson.
Wow. So the leader of the race, I think Ball was in second, so let's see what we get here with the replay.
Well, Hendrickson looking clear ahead. Does Ball just send it in? Does he lose it under braking and skittle him? Oh, he just misses his braking point.
Yeah, he did. He just tried to carry too much speed. Hendrickson was slowing down, and Ball got into the backup.
Oh, drama from the off, and not really on the opening lap like I was maybe anticipating it may well be. Now, that's sort of broken up the field quite a bit with our top 4 getting away as a breakaway group now. And Antonio Race just falling behind a little bit right now. But oh, this could be nasty. Oh no, they've all collected. Well, they haven't collected one another even.
Bolt. I saw somebody slow over on the right-hand side. I don't know if it was McCall or not. Let's take a look at this replay here.
That's Ball.
No, yeah. Just carried too much again, just on the outside. Had to catch the car, check it up. No place really for McConnell to go. And we'll throw this in that Zerbs did disconnect before the race started.
There you go. Always on the ball, as always. There's Simon Ball into the pits. So yeah, he just got a little bit loose, I think, and that's what sort of started off the catalyst of issues. well. It's really sort of shook things up a little bit here. Stevie Ray continues this charge from the back. He's up 11 now. He's been to 18th place. Great start for Jimmy Littbacker as well. He's up 9 into 19th. Really, that's a sort of little group there, all seem to be working together to pick their way through the field, but some big old casualties and some real hardware there's got to be achieved out there for a fair few of our drivers. You've sort of fallen down the order and not where they want to be as we head out onto lap 4. Already plenty of drama. We've not even done 4 minutes yet, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. It's already kind of kicking off, and see Race dropping a couple of spots here early in the race as well. Just maybe just a little tentative and maybe struggling a little bit with the handling of the car as we see Simpson off in the gravel out of turn 1.
Going for Simpson, he made good progress as well. He picked up about 4 or 5 places all in, and just falling down for the order. Nearly's back to where he started. That's Jimmy Littbacker just behind him, and there's Sancinelli, who are scrapping away, and Sancinelli having got a good look there, asking a lot of questions of Littbacker. Can't get the move done for now, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned about Antonio Race. Looks like he's just playing it easy. I mean, as we were saying before the race, this could be a war of attrition here. So there's Pedro Carvalho off into the grass, looping himself around, and maybe, Hendrickson into the pits very early. Maybe, is he clearly carrying a bit of damage? Actually, no, he's not. He's not, because of course, this is going to catch us out a few times, I think, tonight. You know, because you can push it so close to the pit entry that our timing software thinks, yep, you're going into the pits. Actually, you're not. But yes, Antonio Race, I feel that he's maybe just, to finish off my point, just maybe just thinking, right, if I just play this safe, I'm going to pick up a good result here just by keeping myself on the track and not necessarily setting the world alight in terms of pace.
That might be a really good strategy, the way things are going with Simpson around again.
It's not been the Brits race, has it, whatsoever? And that's Tom Lorry, who, well, he was involved in an incident down at Coca-Cola on lap 1. So Simpson ahead. There's Sancinelli just having a look at the inside. Does somebody, yeah, the tiniest bit of contact. A lorry just tries to get around him, but just, when the wheels stick out on these cars, just couldn't make his way around and clipped and connected. And, well, there's another driver around. That's Jeff's Grider.
Yeah, the earlier incident kind of looked like maybe Sancinelli caught the inside curb because I kind of saw his car bounce before the contact. So that might have had something to do with it. Normally these curbs will kind of kick you back out into the racing line. So that might have had something to do with it. But yes, they haven't been like major collisions. We haven't seen like this, the big one, as we would say in NASCAR terms. But, it's a couple of cars, wheel-to-wheel contact, just whether or carrying too much speed or not enough, and just not, everybody getting their wires crossed. So, but so far it looks like everybody, with the exception maybe Simpson and Ball, have pitted already, and so far it's, I won't say clean, but everybody's still able to continue to race.
They are. It's beautiful little battle here in 6th place. Doing Race, Parrish, Kramer, Murakami, DeGassis, Overstreet, Harris all in there and involved. Kramer still leading Spec 2 at the moment. Marnie leading Masters. He's 3rd overall as well. Harry Knobs made his way to the front. We haven't even had a chance to see that one happen. It's been absolute battles aplenty and drama in absolute abundance so far as we're out onto lap 7 now. Of course, we haven't even thought about pit stops yet. I mean, this is another one of those tracks where it's so tight and feisty. You elect to maybe come in a little bit early, as there goes Hendrickson up the inside of Green. That's over 4th place. So both of those will be desperate not to lose lose touch with the top 3 in front of them. That is Nomka, Banker, and Marnie. But I suppose with such a short track as well, you run the risk that if you do try that undercut and come in early, you just get dumped into a whole different set of traffic of drivers that are maybe slower than you, and you don't want to be caught up behind. You lose more time from that.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky situation that we haven't seen. So it looks like the pit stop time is around 45 seconds from cone to cone. just based on a couple of cars that have came in already. So, if if you go back and if you're watching your relatives and everything, and if you're seeing, okay, if I go in and pit and I come out and I'm losing 40 seconds of track time, I'm going to come out between like 225 to 230. So now you've got to battle those cars. So it may not be the best situation. If you're mid-pack where you're going to come out at the back, maybe it's a good call because then you've got clean air and you can just run your laps.
Being shown right now, 2 drivers into the 109s at the moment. That is Christian Kabanka and Tim Hendrickson, 2nd and 4th respectively for those 2 at the moment. Leaders pace looking into just over the 10-second mark, 10.0 or 10.1, and that sort of ballpark. The secondary group, which is being led by Antonio Race, looking around about more like the 10.2s for them. So what does Kabanka do in his pursuit of Aero Nom to try and snaffle away this victory from him here today? There's also, it needs to think about Marnie and Hendrickson, who's caught right up to the back of them, and Jason Green seems to be just dropping off ever so slightly now.
Yeah, he's just, Green's not one for really pushing at the beginning of the race. I don't know, obviously, how much fuel you can say. This is not like this is a very big draft track. There's a couple of small straightaways, obviously, going down the front straight into the Coca-Cola. You can get probably a decent run through there. But anywhere else, it just seems like there's not really a run where you're going to build up enough speed to get a good toe off the car in front. So it may be that fuel saving is not going to be much in play during this race.
No, it's going to be. So you see that this one pans out. That is for sure. It's that elite group, incidentally, in the last lap. All dipping into the 109, so they're definitely ratcheting up the pace here. On board with Hendrickson now, as we head through the O'Brien dogleg down into Recaro. Is he going to have a bit of a look? He's caught right up onto the back of Marnie. You got the feeling that maybe, just maybe, this is going to be his time to strike. He's got the momentum, though. It's going to be a bit of a late move. Pulls to driver's left of Marnie. Up the inside, squeezing it through, and Marnie backs out of it. Thinks wisely about the situation. Tries to lose minimal time. That's Hendrickson back up into 3rd. Oh, they have lost that little bit of time there. 9/10, the gap between themselves and Kabanka. That's Ray in. Well, about on time, to be fair. Normally the first driver to stop 11 minutes in.
Yep, that generally means that the pit window's open for the race. When Stevie Ray's into the pits.
Ooh, coming off there.
Has been there. Grider.
Yeah. There was another car off as well. I think that, yeah, it could have been lit. Yes, it'd be lit back because he's lost a lot of places. He's had an electric start and got himself up to, well, in that sort of Brewster Cathcart sort of area of group and battle. But it's now dropped back to one position to behind where he started as he comes right out of the pits. What sort of time is he looking like in terms of stationary, Charles? My screen's moved over slightly off. 15, yeah. Yep. It's going to be into the low teens, isn't it, by the time... Well, if anyone decides to push this all the way, you see, but look at the way Hendrickson's just instantly, in a flash, caught up with this lead 2. And also, this is where it gets interesting as well, because that is Ray ahead of them. He's not long come out of the pits, much heavier car, and I'm sure Steve won't mind me saying, a slower driver in comparison to these guys. So this could be a real defining moment in this race, potentially.
It very well could be. It's going to be, I'm sure Stevie will try and facilitate a nice clean pass by these guys to not hold them up. Because, yeah, you're right. He's probably a second off of their pace. So, and with a heavier car, as you see, move to the left, nicely done by Stevie, just out of the way, let these guys continue to fight. And, and then Hendrickson, fastest lap of the race, he was a half a second faster than the 2 cars in front last lap with a 109.4.
It's going to be a mounting attack here on the front straightaway for another overtake on another lap. But you see Norm, he's looking a bit uneasy, it seems. He's just covering off as a late move there from Hendrickson. The lunge on the brakes on Kabanka, but just can't get it done. Kabanka carries the momentum right around the outside and will hold on to second for now, but right on the attack. I'll tell you what, there's some big questions asked to Kabanka by Hendrickson right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's definitely piling the pressure on. Not really sure if that was a move to the inside or if it was maybe just a reaction because he was carrying so much more speed than the 2 cars in front. But he's definitely looking to get around Kabanka if he can.
This feels almost like it's inevitable. It's not if, but when Hendrickson makes his move on Kabanka and moves up into second place. Is aggressively moving left and right, filling the mirrors of Kabanka. They are on lap 12. Who's got the best run? Let's not forget, Kabanka does have a slipstream, the draft off of Aero Nom. So Hendrickson, a lot of hard work to try and pull this one out. Is it going to be the late move? No, just tucks in, thinks twice about it, maybe thinking about the long game. But I'll tell you what, this top 3 setting electric pace because they've just dropped your Marnie by 7/10 on these last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's not often where you see Jordan just kind of get left in the dust because he's normally one of those guys that's up in front battling for a win week in and week out.
Fascinating stuff being played out here, and yeah, it's Green 1.2 seconds behind Marnie. Well, if Green is fuel saving, he's gonna, I suppose there are a lot of places where you can just maybe just ride them, come off the throttle, just, ride it and use that momentum to carry your way around the corner. It's the only thing I potentially think Green could try and play around here. Other than that, it's going to be a long, tricky afternoon for a fair few of our drivers, as that could be the move for second place. As Hendrickson, the lunge up the inside into Recaro, but Kabanka does have that draft from Nom, and that could pull himself back into second place. They're still side by side. Oh, and well, Kabanka in the end, yielding to Hendrickson, took it straight back in.
I think that was a smart move by Kabanka. It's just a little look, you get a lot of, you don't get a lot of track support out there on the outside of that kink. And so he just kind of knew that once Hendrickson got alongside, it was just, taking the inside line into the corner. You just you have to lift more than on the outside than you do on the inside. So just you give up the spot, and he just tucks back in into P3 and to see what Hendrickson's going to do next.
I'm fascinated by this battle and what's going to happen. 3 big heavyweights of this series. We're all going to go to battle here at Oran Park. We're going to find out in around about 24 minutes time who's going to come out on top, who's going to walk away with the victory. Is it settled on track? Is it settled in the pit? And does Hendrickson go for another move here down into turn 1 through the sweeper? No, thinks twice about it unless it comes as a late lunge. No. Well, they seem to spend the lap setting it up, doesn't he, the lap prior? If you look at how he got past Kabanka previously.
Yeah, he got that good run out of the final corner to get the inside line and set that up as we see Parrish go off.
That's
like
okay
P7.
Yeah, he was running really well. Was Kevin Parrish. Made a few overtakes. He was battling away with Antonio Race, but it's dropped him down as Brewster just, he had on the inside there by Kafka and McConnell. Just almost a city duck, although Brewster up 7 places so far overall. So not on a bad race as he's made his way through for the back, but it just felt like it's not really been Brewster's season. 2 seasons ago, finished 3rd in the championship, but yeah, I mean, it's just doesn't seem to have clicked for him. Maybe just more of a summer person than a winter person, let's say.
Maybe so. And of course, it could be that everybody's kind of dialing it up a little bit, and he's got to do a little more work to get better. But he's had some good runs as we see that move there with Hendrickson on the inside through the key. Brilliant move.
Had to catch it as well. Practically drifted his way through the kink and trying to get it slowed up in time for Coca-Cola. You said about the dial being turned up, and it's definitely being turned up here at Oran Park as Hendrickson back into lead. I mean, he had dropped. I think after that incident that he dropped all the way to, I think it was about 6 or 7. So it's made up not just a lot of places, but also a lot of time. And I think that's the real crucial part. And now it's time to ask the question realistically: what has Norman Kabanga got in response to it? Does he just clear off into the distance?
I think this lap and the next are going to be pretty crucial. Nom's just got to stay with him. He's got to stay in kind of that less than a second range in order to get the slipstream down the straightaway and just kind of keep in touch with him. Otherwise, yeah, he's just going to check out and leave. He's just obviously having a really great race so far.
Words I thought I'd never hear said there, Charles. Nom has just got to stay in his slipstream and stay with him. Frightening stuff, really. I mean, yeah,
it's well, I mean, I spent all morning watching the GB Carrera Cup and watching 7K drivers just get left. So it is just a matter of it's just a matter of skill. Sometimes it's like Hendricks got the skills to just kind of step away from the rest of the group.
And maybe even a bit of the bit between his teeth. I mean, let's face it, sometimes we have a bit of an incident. It awakens the inner beast in you, and you get the bit between your teeth, and you find this pace that you didn't even know you had in your locker. Other guy's exactly slow. You don't get to 8.6k from being slow by any stretch of imagination, but you see how hard he's pushing the rear end of the car, just sort of drifting out through Recaro there. Then catching it, and well, this guy pretty much stabilized it. Well, was that fastest lap of the? Yes, it was fastest lap of the race the last time around from Hendrickson, and no draft to aid him in doing so. Who was that off? I think that might have been Tom Lorry. No, it's Chris Montgomery.
Wow,
very similar. That's why it caught me out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but it's kind of like Montgomery. He's usually pretty. Yeah, he's struggling a little bit right now as we get here, coming down into the kink there, and just looks like, yeah, just loops the car, carrying a little too much speed, kind of off the apex, and just puts it in the dirt, kind of resets it.
That was one of the battles I was looking forward to seeing. Montgomery versus Trent Kramer. He's leading, well, very comfortably leading Spec 2 right now. Closest challenger to taking that away from him is going to be Stevens. He's all the way down in 18th in comparison. But yeah, Montgomery and Kramer only separated. Oh, what have you spotted, Charles? What you spotted? That was a big ball.
Well, I saw the pit sign come up for Hendrickson, but maybe he was just a really far outside line coming out of the final corner that triggered the pit timing. But so he's obviously still on the track.
But yes, I'd say about Montgomery, only 4,000 seconds separating himself and Kramer, so in qualifying, so a bit gutted that didn't transpose across to the race, because that could have been another great. Oh no! Overstreet loses the rear and nearly, well, she did well, so not to collect more people from that.
She did indeed, and she was having a great run. She was up to, like, I think 7th or 8th, starting from the mid-teens. So obviously having a great start to the race, but yeah, just too much speed and just lost the rear coming out of the key.
Well, she clipped the rear end of Parrish. Has it caused any damage? It would appear not. It's sometimes a bit tricky to say with these cars, isn't it? Because the lack of panels, certainly at the rear of the car, it's not obvious like a massive bent rear wing or something like that that's easily identifiable. It's well, it's only time that tells, or maybe they were just unexpectedly, for no apparent reason, just losing it at one of the corners following. But Parrish looking okay at the moment. And how about
big cost movie? I saw that too. Yeah, Kabanga making the pass on Nom for P2.
And also, Charles, because I just looked across to the right as well to our timing sheets. 1.5 second, Hendrickson has pulled out over these two.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, Nom was doing a really good job. We talked about just trying to stay close to him, and he did for 2 or 3 laps. Was within that half second to a second range, and he had, Hendrickson was obviously setting a purple laps, But these guys had also picked up their pace as well. And it seems like Knopf may be falling off a little bit, and Cabanca is able to turn it up a little further. But I mean, Cabanca's last lap was on pace with Hendrickson.
So I think this is about another 2 attempts gained by Hendrickson in the space of a lap. And to boot, fastest lap of the race as well for Hendrickson. This is all of a sudden become all about the battle for second place, and we're now out of the question for either of these two as they're being left for dust. Not words I say lightly, but it's appearing here on lap 21. I mean, just over half race distance. It's a bit about also, let's not forget, we have got to think about those pit stops. They're not far away. They're all could have been and gone and done within about the next 8 minutes, 9 minutes or so.
That's about right. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, normally I would kind of agree with you. If on pace, yeah, this is Hendrickson's race to lose. But, you know, we still have that pit stop that is going to throw, that has the ability to throw a monkey wrench into the works.
There's more, well, still battles going up and down through the field. Ball on the recovery drive. And that's another driver picked up in the form of Paul Stevens, who also managed to just about hold off Sancinelli, who was having a little bit of a look there. Is that? No, it was a long pause. I thought Hendrickson might have actually done it there, come into the pit, but it was illuminating for such a long time, but it's not. Actually, it's another new fastest lap of the race, isn't it, for Hendrickson when he came across the line. So, not hanging around whatsoever is the Dutchman. Now 2.2 seconds the gap. As Green has caught up to Marnie there, you'll see, and that is Trent Kramer in from the lead of Spec 2, 8th overall for the American.
Yeah, he's obviously having a great race, and yeah, this feels like a good time to come in for him. Is you know, he will drop down the order a bit, but you know, maybe come out in some clean air and can run some solid laps and make that undercut work, and he can maintain his lead in the Spec 2 class.
Yes, it's should look after that one comfortably. So I think where's he going to come out? About third in class, I believe. Yeah, behind Stevens and Sancinelli, who are both yet to stop. And is he going to come out into a lovely little pocket of space? Yes, he is as well. So that bodes well for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a really good call on his part. So now he's got a nice little gap of about 6 seconds in front of him with just clean track. And so he can just get his tires back up to the proper temp and run some good solid laps as the rest of the field starts pitting, and he should just have a nice comfortable run back up to the front.
It's just a case of just winding down the clock for Kramer in that 444 machine. What's going to give him the lead of the Spec 2 Championship, walking away from Oran Park. Stevens provisionally now just hold Spec 2 lead himself, and Sancinelli locked in this battle. Only 3 attempts separating them. As I say, that Sancinelli dives into the pit lane. Michael McConnell just heading down pit road there in the 62. It's not been his day at the races, has it, whatsoever?
No, it hasn't.
Oh, that's Kramer in again. Oh, no!
Ooh, what is this? Interesting.
I see an incident somewhere. I'm not seeing anything what looks like broken suspension. There goes Sancinelli. Wow, this is taking a bit of a plot twist, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
Did he not take on what? I'm completely and utterly confused.
Did he get a penalty on pit exit?
Well, no. Surely not, no, because he was stationary, wasn't he? Look, that's only a 16-second stop now.
Yeah, that's bizarre. No, I was just thinking maybe he was just, you know, speeding on pit exit, which would have been like a 25-second penalty, which he could take, or obviously just let it tack on to the end. You know, well, no, actually take that back because it'd be a black flag. So I was going to say, but he would have to come back in and serve it. So yeah, I'm not sure why he came in again, but it's the same. It's the same stoppage time, so it's not like he took fuel the first time. I can't see him taking that much fuel the second time. That's just bizarre.
I mean, the only thing I think of is he picked up a bit of damage somewhere, and Alexis come in, used his fast repair, and then just hadn't corrected the fuel.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that him officially in? I think that might be Jason Green in. Yes, it is. He's into the pit road. Well, that's early. Of all the people stopping, normally Jason Green is one of the, if not the last driver, but that front group, he's won the first. That's, like, again, it's all happening, Charles. It's all gone a little bit bizarre.
It has indeed, yeah. Yeah, Green is, you know, the kind of the fuel save master, so he's usually like the last car to come into the pits, and that's only because he absolutely has to. And so, yeah, for him to come in this early is maybe he's thinking the same thing. Maybe he can run an undercut and make up a little bit of time before these guys come in, and maybe pick up a spot or two.
It's going for Trent Kramer doubly because it would have made it 3 wins in a row in Class 4 here.
Well, even the second stop, him taking fuel, would he even be able to put that much more fuel in the car? That's the other part of that. Was so a lot of things just not really making sense with that second stop.
Leader in. There is Tim Hendrickson. So, what sort of in-lap pace have Kabanka and Nom got? Surely you've got to work together. I should say that. Look, the gap's opened up between these two, hasn't it? 1.7 seconds, in fact. So that's kind of been it's been a little bit of accumulation as we've been working out what's been going on to poor Trent and Kramer down in Spec 2, and really hotting up between them. Marnie still leading Masters, and I say looking comfortably. I said that about Trent and Kramer, and well, look what's happened to him, unfortunately. Not his day at the races. Ball into the pit lane as well. There comes Hendrickson out into 11th. Between Nelson and Kafka. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, it's a little bit of a long stop for Hendrickson. Probably 2-3 seconds longer than what you would think. So, don't know if that's going to play into this or not, but if Kabanka is on and has a good in-lap and good stop, as we see Nom coming in now, that may actually flip those again for a lap or two.
Yeah, it could be right back in. Here comes Marnie into the pits as well. Right. It's time to buckle up, everyone. Let's find out exactly how this one's going to pan out. Where is Hendrickson? So he is 3x3, so he's heading around Momo now. There's Nelson, who's in front of him, heading through O'Brien Dogleg. And out of Recaro he comes. And into the pits for him. So Norm, Marnie, DeGassius, Overstreet, all in pit road right now. There is Hendrickson. As Nom is out of his pit box, he's heading down. Keep your eyes peeled to the left. Where is Nom? And well, he's coming out of the pit lane, and that gap has shrunk a bit, but it was not enough from Nom, despite being 3 seconds nearly faster in the pit box compared to Hendrickson. He still remains in second. There's Kabanka, and is he going one more time? No, he's not. He's into the pits now.
I was going to say, I think this would be the lap that the rest of the cars come in. I don't think they can go another lap, but we'll see. So it's there's only like I think 5 more cars left to pit.
There we go. There's race in Parrish, Murakami, Harris, and Jacobson all yet to pit. There we go. There's Parrish and Murakami all into pits. There comes Harris just in the background. Right, where is Hendrickson again? Well, he's just heading out O'Brien right now. Kabanka in his box, stops 6-7 seconds on the clock, stationary 9 seconds, 10 seconds, needs the outlap of his life, as there's Montgomery off. Wow, it's not going too well if you're in Spec 2 right now. There's Kabanka out. Where's Hendrickson? He's just going to appear, and it's enough for Kabanka, or is it? They're side by side into Coca-Cola. They scrap it out, but Hendrickson just done enough.
Just enough. Very, very tight with Kabanka coming out of the pits. Yeah, we was 3.3 seconds faster with the stop. So it was a good call by Kabanka to try and just see if he could jump, but just not quite enough. So now it's just, can he hang on to the tail of Hendrickson for the last part of the race? Maybe Hendrickson makes a mistake. We'll just have to wait and see. 7 minutes left.
if you're aeronaut, you're going to have the racing gods on speed dial right now and saying, please, please, get Christian Kabanka to get into Hendrickson and try and slow the pair of them up, because I want to be part of this fight. 2 seconds is the gap, but that gap can diminish very, very quickly if they start battling. There they are, those top two. Bit of traffic they're coming up onto. That's Gary Walbot on the 902 machine, just in the foreground, disappearing out of shot. Oh, so tight between them. Let's try. Oh, again into that. That's damage. Oh, he's missing a rear let, right? Even sorry.
Yeah, let's see if we can replay here. Oh no! Oh, just there was the car in front that came back out. Looked like it hit the barrier and came back on track, and Halt Kramer in the right rear. What a tragic end to a race. It was kind of a little strange for him anyway, but obviously while he was on track, he had the pace to lead that class.
Montgomery, ironically, Montgomery now leads Spec 2. So it looks he will walk away with the championship lead from Oran Park in Spec 2. It's all of a sudden just flipped on its head. Sanchine, you see in the background there, 3.2 seconds down the road, and then in 18th, so these guys were in 16th, 17th, 18th respectively. It's Paul Stevens, who's further 2.5 seconds behind Sanchinelli. Don't see those guys closing a bar of mistake with what we got 5.5 minutes just under.
Yeah, it's, you know, once again, it's, you know, we've seen some strange things already during this race, so one more probably would give us something to talk about, but, you know, probably would change the results a bit. But as we see, still Hendrickson, Kabanka top two, and Kabanka's doing a really good job of just hanging with them.
I mean, surely it's got to help that Kabanka's going to have a lighter car, having taken on so much less fuel, you know, in comparison to what Hendrickson did. I mean, Kabanka did stop 2 laps later. However, that doesn't negate the fact that, as you said, it was 3.4 seconds, 3.3 seconds in that window less time stationary for Kabanka versus Hendrickson. So maybe, just maybe, this might give Kabanka the slight edge to at least turn this into a bit of a scrap. Norm is being dropped though, and that's the crucial point in preventing this turning into a freeway fight to the lead.
Yeah, and you could see, I was watching that time just happened that, yeah, there's a little section right there on the at the exit of that final corner that triggers pit in, which I think caught both of us out at least once today. So it was nice to see it on track as we're riding along with Kabanka here. But yeah, it's you know, they're basically checking out. They dropped Nom. He's 3 seconds off of these off this group. With the Green and Monty another 7 seconds back after that.
So, key battles on the track, as you mentioned, Green and Marnie. They're getting close to another. Harris, Overstreet, Murakami. All right, on cue from producer Smooley there. Started to come together nicely. That's building to crescendo. In fact, Overstreet's just taken 3 attempts out of Harris in the last few corners. So that's really starting to prove to be another cracker. And then we have got Montgomery closing up onto the back of Rooster. Nobody hits double figures, oddly, though, in terms of position gained for a change in this in this series.
Yeah, it is a little strange. Yeah, that we do see a couple that are double figures down, but nobody that's double figures up. Sanchinelli's up 9 positions. That is the high water mark for the race.
It is. So, 3 minutes left. Gonna give us, I'm gonna guesstimate from where are they on that track. I'd say we've probably got another 3 laps actually left remaining between these guys as well. There you go. Harris loses even more to another 3 attempts, and that's brought Overstreet right up onto the back of them, and she's brought Murakami along for the ride. Doesn't think about it on this lap. This feels like another if not when, but equally, Harris is struggling a little bit. This could always prove a bit treacherous, certainly a track like Oran Park.
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of room for passes here. It's pretty much a 2-lane track with some of the corners being just 1 lane, and that's the racing line. So it's you know, just got to pick your spot. But Overstreet does a really good job. She's not overly aggressive, but she does a good job of picking where she's going to make moves. I'm sure she's behind, just kind of watching and deciding where she's going to make that run to get that pass made.
Well, here we go, folks. Here we go. What is going to happen this last 1 minute and 30 left of the race? Harris goes defensive already, or to that inside line, says to Overstreet and Murakami, if you want to come past, you've got to come right around the outside. He moves back onto the racing line. Does that open up the opportunity for Overstreet to go underneath him? Yes, it does. Onto the brakes. But here comes Murakami. Can he follow Overstreet through? No, he can't. He has to back out of it. But Harris is looking a little bit slower, a little bit sluggish off the corner. But Overstreet is through. The lockup from Murakami. Keeping half up. Needs about 5 eyes to try and concentrate on everything that we've got going on here. We've still got, well, Marnie and Green seem to have calmed down and looking like they're remaining as they are. Similar situation with Hendrickson and Kambanka. So, pound for pound, this seems like it's going to be the most interesting fight between these guys. Although, where are they? Yes, they are. They are the white flag lap. Charles, I think our leaders
so.
might be.
I
Yes.
think you may be right. Yep, I think it should be the last lap. And see, Kavanka's right there. That was a great move by Overstreet earlier. You know, Harris took the defensive line out of the final corner. Overstreet just kind of followed him, got a good toe down the front straight. He moved over to open the corner, and she just stayed on the inside and took advantage of that.
Crucially, Kambanka said, Samuli's eyes, peeled as always, did not see a flagman furiously waving the white flag. Let's ride on board with Jeff Jackson. He'll give us the biggest indicator. Yeah,
Yep.
there it is. It's out. Left-hand side of your screen. So, who has got it within them? Here they come, the race to the line. Well, it's going to be Hendrickson going to win this one comfortably because Kabanka's backed out of it. Couldn't make it count despite on the previous lap saying the fastest lap for the race of 109.22. The recovery from Hendrickson, he gets it. Kabanka's second, Nom third. Green's going to beat Marnie in the run to the line there. Right, next fight is can Harris get past? Oh, Murakami. Right, he's out of that battle now. Gassi's past him. Does Gassi's onto the podium in Masters?
God, that was that, Harris and Murakami fight. Gonna guess that something went badly wrong with Murakami off the track.
Made a bit of a lunge and it didn't come off, and then quite no. Brewster and Montgomery, your next fight up. Brewster just needs to try and bring this one home if he can, but Montgomery, I tell you what, is making his life uncomfortable. Montgomery, the leader in Spec 2, but he doesn't care. He's going for it full bore here. And he's still in with the shout here, but I don't think it's going to be a long enough run to the line, and Brewster will hold him off. I tell you what, 10 out of 10 for a commitment to the cause there from Chris Montgomery.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially when you're leading your class and you're battling with a different class racer. Just say, okay, I'm going to get every position I can. I don't really care if he's a different class than me or not. I'm just going to try and run and finish as high as possible.
Now, with everyone across the line, let's take you through some classified results here from Oran Park. What a race it's been. Tim Hendrickson, well, taken out in the second lap and recovered it all the way back to the front. So dominant, despite being slow in the pit stop, to being victory here today over Christian Kabanka. He sat waiting patiently in the interview race. We'll speak to him shortly. Arrow Norm, only good enough for third here today for the Estonian. Then Jason Green, fourth, just beating off Yugmani, who's won Masters category, fifth overall. Antonio Race, sixth. Second in Masters, then Parrish, Overstreet, Harris to Gassius, running out your top 10 and picking up the last podium place in Masters after that. But instant from Murakami late on. Nelson 12th, then it's McConnell, Jacobson, Brewster, then Montgomery walks away with that victory in Spec 2. Sancinelli and Stevens, well, second and third in class, but it seems being one lap down. Also one lap down was Warbolt. Simon Bull had an eventful day, finished 20th. Then Manning Grinnan on his return to the championship. Brad Cathcart, maybe hope for a bit of a better race here today in his home track, 22nd. Then Guard, good drive from the back, having started dead last to finish 23rd. Trenton Kramer, well, he's going to be disappointed and gutted by that one to come in 24th. Jimmy Limp back at 2 laps down in 25th. Then into retirement, Pedro Carvalho lost on lap 27. Stevie Ray lap 19. Tom Laurie lap 17. Jason Grider lap 13. Chris Simpson lap 8. And Matt Zerbs did not make the start. Let's have a chat to some of our drivers. Well, he's been sat there waiting patiently for so long. Christian Kabanka. I mean, congratulations on second. Commiserations. I'm not sure how to call this one. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's a bit bittersweet. I think I had the pace to win if Tim wasn't here, if you know what I mean.
Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I mean he was electric. I mean, you must have felt right. Okay, I've got a second chance at things here when you came out the pits and he's right alongside you.
Yeah, I'm a bit kicking myself that I didn't defend more, but you know, turn 1 and 2 is so treacherous in this track. But well, when he got by, I knew it was going to be a tall order for me to get past him, especially with his pace.
Well, it definitely is. It's lap to electric, but you know, you did get fastest lap of the race. Yes, you did. Yes, you got it on the penultimate lap. So not everything lost necessarily, and still second place.
Yeah. In hindsight, yeah, it's a really good result for the fact that I was second in the championship coming into this race, and my main rival Simon Ball, he messed up in the race, so I got no incidents and a fastest lap, so I get some bonus points, and hopefully I think I'm in the championship lead now, which is good.
Exactly, it's not bad walking away from Oran Park with championship lead. Well, congratulations, Christian. I will let you go and enjoy your second place here today. Next up, we've got your Barney for your Charles, sat patiently waiting there in the wings as ever.
Yeah, Jorg Monty with the Masters class victory and P5 overall. So Jorg, it was a pretty torrid pace up there in the front of the field today.
Yeah, but I knew that I will not be as fast as I could here on Oran Park, because especially with the Spec 4, I did not do any laps in this week with this car on that track. And yeah, P5 is okay. I had to pass Jason at the end as well because I couldn't match his pace, and I forgot to click on the fuel thingy before I pitted, so I had to do that while driving. And I'm not really good in doing two things at the same time. That's why he catched me, and that's why he passed me. But it's fine. P5 is fine.
Yeah, I understand. Now, yeah, I was gonna mention that you had a pretty good battle with Jason there at the end of the race.
Yeah, exactly. I could keep it on distance, actually, always about 1.3 seconds, always in between there. And I'm sure I could keep that until the end, but yeah, I was even surprised that it did not pass me while after the pit stop, and that was quite a surprise for me. And yeah, but it was fun.
Well, congratulations, Jorg. I'm assuming we'll see you in the next race.
Yeah, you will. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That is all we've got time for here today. Well, temporarily from Oran Park, we'll be back in just under an hour when the Spec Racer Fords take to the track. For myself, Tim Cox, Charles Bashal, that's Samu Kumo. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a week's time when the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors returns. Goodbye.